and welcome to my video. My name is Kyle Duffy and I'm just going to give you a quick run through my project, CI/CD framework for automated deployment, UI and API tests with test automation. So first we'll just take a quick look at our pipeline run, which are triggered by our workflows contained in the repositories. So here we're just going to take a quick look at the pipeline. I'm going to do a pipeline run. So first of all, this will be triggered by an update to the develop branch of the React applications repository in GitHub. And what will happen then, this workflow will trigger a second workflow that will be in the testing application repository. And then I'll manually trigger a workflow, but the last workflow to the master branch. But I'll go through it here now. So first of all, what I'd like to do is I will trigger the first workflow by updating the develop branch of the football application, the React applications repository in GitHub. So I'm going to take a look around the develop branch here. So I'll make an update here, just a small update to the dashboard page, first of all. So I'll just update the title. So we'll just say Teams dashboard test here. So this is just a small update so that we can trigger this workflow. Now, when I send this, when I update the develop branch, we'll then go to GitHub Actions within the GitHub repository, and we should see this action being triggered. So the develop branch has been updated, and we can see that the first workflow has been triggered. So I'll just go through this while it's actually running the actions and the jobs. So we'll look at the build and deploy job first. So this is just like a pre-job. So we use a Firebase action. So this is an open source action that Firebase provide, and this is just building the Firebase environment first before any of the other jobs run. So next we use run actions checkout too. So this is just an action that, again, an open source action provided by GitHub Actions. This allows for checking out the repository. So we need to use the code within this repository, and this action allows us to check out that code. The next action run is to set up Node. So we want to set up Node within the environment that we're using. So this action just sets up Node within the environment. Next, we also run the command. So this run command npm CI, it's much like npm install. So we want to use npm within our environment. So we're going to run npm CI. Again, it's the same as npm install. So we can use npm within our environment here. Keep on moving down. Apologies. I'm hoping the next action has run. So the next action is to create an environment .env file. So this one was a little bit tricky to create. So because I didn't want any of the environment variables, I suppose, in our repository to be displayed, what had to be done here was I ran the commands. So touch.env. So this creates. So this just creates. So this is within the environment. It creates a .env file, and then also these parameters, so the React API key, Firebase API key, Automate, these are stored as GitHub secrets, which I'll go through in a little while as well, because I've used these quite a bit. Basically, it just means we don't want to store these vulnerable items within the repository for everybody to see, so you can store them as GitHub secrets. And then, so these are then called, so they're stored as secrets here, and then they're actually placed into it. So the env file is created within the environment, and then these are then echoed or placed into the .env file. Next, we just want to run npm run build. So this command is necessary when you've made changes to your React application, like we've just done there, small changes, but you need to run that npm run build each time you make a change to your React application. I'll close that one. And next, so this GitHub action for Firebase, I just talked about this previously. So when this action is run, this is an open source action that is provided by Firebase. When this is run, it just builds the environment for Firebase. It uses the parameters that I've put in secrets here and placed into the .env file, and also I've pulled those from the Firebase console, and then it will do a lot of the deployment for you. So you can see here, it's deploying all of the files to Firebase, and then the deploy is complete. So instead here, what I've done for the develop branch, I've deployed to the ephemeral environment or the preview environment, because we don't want our changes to go to the production environment just yet. We also want our end-to-end tests to run. And also, we have a job to run the unit tests here. So I'll just show you also that this has triggered another workflow. So you can see this has been triggered. I'll get to that in just a moment. So this also runs our unit tests. So again, check out actions v3. So we want to check out our code that's in the GitHub repository. Once again, same as before, we run npm install. So this just installs npm within the environment to run the unit test. So this is a separate job as before. So we need to rebuild the environment to run this npm run test. So this is a command. I'll go through these unit tests in a while. So we just use npm run tests to run the unit test. So that's just a simple command. And then the post run actions checkout. So this will just clean up the environment once again. Lastly, we have our job run end-to-end tests. So we set up the job. It uses the operating system. They're all using the same operating system, which is Ubuntu. and it runs this curl command. So this curl command, it was required to actually, this curl command is actually required to cross repo trigger. So because this, the Cypress tests are in a separate repository, we need to do what's called cross repo trigger. And unfortunately, GitHub doesn't really provide an easy solution for this. So this is something that I found online. It just runs a curl command aimed at the other repository, and there is a GitHub secret in there as well that allows you to kind of trigger this. Otherwise, it wouldn't be possible, but this is a bit of a workaround. It triggers the other repository to run the Cypress end-to-end test, which actually had a listener as well. So these have also been triggered. So this runs in a separate repository. So again, you can see here, we have football app end-to-end test. So this is the most recent run. So it's just run 4 minutes ago. And I might actually just show you the changes have been updated. So this is the production environment. So we won't actually see the changes here just yet. So you can see there's no test after Teams dashboard. But if I get the, excuse me, the ephemeral environment URL and add it here, we should have the updates now. So I'll just log in. And as you can see, the header here has been updated. So we have Teams dashboard test as we updated in the develop branch. So far, only the preview environment, ephemeral environment has been updated and not the production environment just yet. Because we wanted our Cypress end-to-end test to run. Excuse me. So we can see the results of the test here. So I'll just go through this workflow once again. So again, the environment is built. So we use the same action again. So we want to use this action to check out our code, this time instead from the Cypress repository. So we want to check out our code within the environment so we can run these tests. Next, we use an open source action provided by Cypress. So this just allows us to build, I suppose, the environment containing the dependencies necessary for Cypress to be able to run. And then if I can find it here, then we just run the command npx cypress run. So this command just allows us to run the Cypress tests, and you can actually see through here, then you'll be able to see the results. So you can see our dashboard page tests are passing, template spec tests passing, homepage test passing. Unfortunately, our login tests haven't successfully passed in this run. Registration tests have also not passed. Standing tests, half of them have passed. And then you can see just a final report of the run there as well. Just give me a moment, sorry. And then you can see also our API tests have run here as well. So these tests are also passing. So some of our tests are passing, some aren't, but you can see it's good that some failures have come through there at least anyway. So you can kind of see we also have an action here that stores the failing tests. So what we want to do is save the screenshots and the videos as artifacts. So those get saved as an artifact or a file within this repository, which I'll just show you in a moment. So this uses an action to upload the artifact to our repository. And then we can check out what's going wrong with screenshots and whatnot, and videos also, they'll be saved in the artifact. And then again, post checkout git code. So this is just kind of cleaning up the environment again. And that's most of the, I suppose, the develop branch and the test to run there. And next, we'll just take a look at then manually triggering. If you're happy with the test results, what we'll do is we'll manually trigger the pipeline to run the changes to the production environment. The other job to mention also within the testing repository or the testing pipeline is the send email job. So after the tests have run, if the tests fail, what will be done is an email will be sent to the user. So again, we use this checkout git code action. What didn't work, unfortunately, was downloading the Cypress artifacts to the email. That did not work in the end, unfortunately. But what is sent is we use, again, an open source action. So this action, if you just put in some simple details here, so just the username and password, again, these are saved as secrets. I'm using Gmail for this. And then if the tests fail, when I'm going through the code, I'll run through a bit more. It uses an if statement within YAML. So if any of the tests fail, what this will do is it will trigger an email to check out the Cypress artifacts and see, if you're happy with them failing then. And then I'll show you the email here. So because some of our tests fails, of course, this will have triggered an email. And this is the email that's